Today's loaded Dallas Cowboys Report is sponsored by Mint Mobile. They have plans starting at just $15 a month, and it runs on the largest 5G network. If you're trying to save some money, which you should be with inflation and everything, with your cell phone provider, make the switch today over to Mint Mobile. It's mintmobile.com/chatsports. Like I mentioned, a pretty jam-packed Cowboys Report today. Some more Roquan Smith trade rumors. We'll break those down again. Two different players, at least speculatively / hopefully, depending on who you ask, being linked to the Cowboys in Brett Hundley, the quarterback, and Demarcus Robinson, the wide receiver. And we'll run through some fairly lengthy Cowboys injury news. This type of loaded show is exactly why you should be part of the Noti gang here at the Cowboys Report. That way you don't miss out on any video. You are the first to know the news here among all things going on around the Cowboys. Simply click the bell icon where you first subscribed. Change it from personalized to all. That way, every time there's a push notification, you get one sent right to your phone. That way, you don't miss out on any videos, and you help me feed my family in the process. Click that bell icon and join the Noti gang here at the Cowboys Report. Let's go to the latest on Roquan Smith, who continues to be linked, I would emphasize speculatively, by different multiple outlets. Matt Lomabardo, who I don't think knows that much. Albert Breer, who does know many things. Both those two and others have linked Roquan Smith to the Cowboys via trade. They are relatively high up in the betting odds, and I get it, right? It's the Cowboys. They are always linked to every single big-time player that becomes available because that's how it always works, right? They have the cap space. They could benefit from adding Roquan Smith. It also goes against their established MO. Some of the pros, right? Look, Roquan Smith is a fantastic football player. He really is. Dallas has all of the cap space still, and his addition would make the defense even better. But he'd be an expensive addition from a draft capital perspective, a monetary perspective. We know how Catboy feels about that. I think we would all agree the Cowboys have bigger needs. And when was the last time this organization made a splash move? Amari Cooper trade was the last one, and that was born out of desperation. The Cowboys are not desperate because they're not all in at this point. The idea of adding Roquan Smith in a bubble is super fun. High-end impact linebacker, not a premier coverage player, but this would allow you to consistently and repeatedly line up Micah Parsons at edge. I am on board with that. Or use him in a continuous creative hybrid role. It makes your defense better. I also know this. You can't communicate with Roquan Smith. NFL made that clear. It's tampering since he has no agent. That's a big factor there. You cannot figure out what the value is. We all know he wants to be the highest paid off-ball linebacker in the NFL. Do the Dallas Cowboys want to pay Roquan Smith $20 million for an off-ball linebacker, a good one, a great one overall, when, in the words of Catboy, you got other contracts coming down the line? I think investing less at off-ball linebacker from a money perspective is smart. By the way, I am not including Micah Parsons in that pure off-ball linebacker conversation. But this team likes Jabril Cox and Damone Clark long-term. They've got good veteran stopgaps in Leighton Vander Esch and Anthony Barr, or at least passable veteran stopgaps. So I don't think you really need them at this point. But I want to hear from you guys. Do you want to trade for Roquan Smith? Y for yes, N for no. This will be the pinned comments on today's video. So if an ad break happens to come here on YouTube, it's perfect timing. Take advantage of it. Head down there and let me know Y or N. The number one reason why I think I don't really want to, and I know the Cowboys don't want to, they're going to pay $20 million a year for Smith. Are you going to give him $5,100? Because I think that's what it would cost, whether or not he wants to admit it or not. And the reports have been, well, maybe they won't get that much in a trade back, maybe a second and or a third. Well, okay, a second and a third is a pretty decent amount. And you factor in the fact that if you don't re-sign him, you're getting a third-round pick via comp. The Bears are not going to settle for anything less than a third at minimum. And in the end, do you want to pay $20 million to Roquan Smith? It's a lot of money. What I'm saying is this. Don't get your hopes up. We have played the link player to Cowboys game many a time in the past. We did it with Deebo Samuel. We know how that turned out. In the end, I bet the Bears and Roquan Smith get a long-term deal done. I just don't think the Cowboys will or should be throwing around that level of money. Great football player, bigger issues right now than the linebacker position. Now, if you're trying to save some money with your premium wireless coverage, do it with Mint Mobile. They offer that unlimited premium wireless plan starting at $15 a month over at mintmobile.com/chatsports. You're not going to find a better bang for your buck than Mint Mobile. Runs on the largest 5G network, unlimited talk and text, mobile hotspots. Plans start at $15 a month at mintmobile.com/chatsports. Don't just take my word for it. Take my mom's word for it. She's also made the switch over to Mint Mobile, and you should too. mintmobile.com/chatsports. That link is in the comments section and in the description of today's video. Let's move to free agency. Two players kind of being linked to Dallas, I think more so from social media hopefulness. First up is Brett Hundley, cut by the Ravens on Tuesday. Cowboys did have him in for a workout way back in 2021, and Mike McCarthy knows Hundley very well from their time together in Green Bay. And I think that's a big reason why Dallas hasn't signed him. Over his career, Brett Hundley's been, how to put this delicately, bad. 9 career starts, sub 60% completion percentage, not even 2,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, 13 interceptions. I know there were some who liked Brett Hundley coming out of UCLA. We have a large enough sample size, multiple different teams giving him a shot. He's not a good quarterback. Is he better than Cooper Rush, better than Will Grier, better than Ben DiNucci? I don't know, maybe, but by the time he gets up to speed in the offense, you're kind of wasting all this time here. I genuinely don't see any real benefit to adding Hundley to this Cowboys team. I would rather let Rush and Grier, and yes, even Ben DiNucci, get a chance to show what he can do at quarterback behind Dak Prescott. It feels like making a change for the sake of making a change. But you have that option if you so choose. Pick a quarterback for me. Type in BH for Brett Hundley, BD for Ben DiNucci, CR for Cooper Rush, or WG for Will Grier. Let's move to a potentially more intriguing option. Demarcus Robinson, cut by the Raiders, a surprise to many, although if you pay attention to what my boy Mitchell Renz, host of the Raiders Report, says, not a surprise. It was unlikely he was going to make the team. Robinson's been around the NFL for years. He is somewhat of a household name. He's had flashes of good production in KC. You might know him from fantasy, Florida Gator great as well. He never lived up to expectations in Kansas City, and as we all know, the Cowboys lack proven, healthy wide receiver talent. I don't know how much talent Robinson really has from a reliability standpoint. His numbers over the last 4 years, 264, 466, 449, 288. He's good for a couple touchdowns each and every single year. He does give them at least more production than what they have on their roster healthy. We have total unknowns in Tolbert, in Houston, in Feoko, in Vasher, although there is obvious upside with all of those guys. Washington's going to miss time. Noah Brown is at a great camp, but he hasn't been very productive in the past. The other side of this that matters is you need your receiver 4, 5, 6, which is what Robinson would be in the end once Gallup comes back, because he's not going to play over Lamb, Gallup, or Tolbert. Let's be realistic here. You need to help on special teams. It's not really Robinson's game either. Career low, 13 special team snaps back in 2021. He's been a bit special teams player really outside of his rookie season back in 2016. I've got some more thoughts coming up on Robinson, my opinion on what I would do, but would you add Demarcus Robinson? Type in S for you'd sign him, or type in P for you pass. It's not really the route you want to go. Sound off for me in the comment section. In the end, this falls in the I guess if you want to do it, sure, group. I'm not going to be mad if they sign him. Like, you're trying something at wide receiver. I'll give you credit. Maybe it'll be different this time, even though I think Robinson falls into one of the it'll be different this year guys that always exist in the NFL. I'm also not mad if they don't do it. Okay. Robinson, I think, best case is another wide receiver 4 for the Cowboys, which is not your issue. You've got wide receiver 4s, guys that can handle that back-end, high-end backup role. What you're lacking at the current moment right now is maybe a more proven option to fill in as receiver 2 or receiver 3. I don't really think Robinson brings that for you anymore. And it's not like the Raiders are overloaded at wide receiver talent. Keelan Cole beat him out. I think DJ Turner, UDFA might beat him out. Matt Collins beat out Demarcus Robinson, plus other guys you probably haven't heard of. So sure if you want, but it doesn't move the needle for me at all. All right, rapid fire now. Some Cowboys injury news, beginning with the big one. Matt Waletzko. He is holding off on shoulder surgery. The rest rehab plan has gone pretty well. He's made some progress there. It gives Waletzko a chance to play later this year, assuming there's no setback or anything. But he is expected to begin the year on IR, and once the season wraps up, he'll then need that shoulder surgery to fix the dislocation. So expectation is no Matt Waletzko for week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4 at minimum. If you start the year on IR, once you're carried through 53-man rosters, have to miss 4 games, which leaves Josh Ball, Avion Collins, and I thought maybe the most impressive of your offensive tackles last week, Isaac Alarcon, which that's a thin group in terms of offense linemen, especially with the way Ball's played. Of course, you could play Tyler Smith at left tackle if needed, but you're thin, as so many teams are, at the offensive tackle spot. So do the Cowboys need to sign an offensive tackle? 1 for yes, they do. 0 for no, they do not. Let me know what you guys are thinking in the comments section as it sits to the need along the offensive line. All right, more injury news. These ones all mostly positive. Anthony Barr activated yesterday from the physically unable to perform list where he began this time with Dallas on after he signed. He'll work his way up to a regular role, so good news there on Barr, trending in the right direction. Potentially very good news, at least it is for Will Grier. He had missed week 1 of the preseason with that groin injury. He is back. He was part of the walkthrough practice yesterday. He is on path to playing against the Chargers in week 2. And given the way Cooper Rush fared in a pretty rough showing against Denver, that gives Grier a chance to win the backup quarterback job for the Cowboys. More good news on Tyron Smith. That ankle injury was indeed minor. They rested it after he tweaked it against the Denver Broncos. He was back at Tuesday's walkthrough practice. I suspect we'll see him later on today in the joint practice against the LA Chargers. Hopefully no injuries, knock on wood, in that game, or in that practice, I should say. We will not see, however, Jaron Kearse, the Cowboys safety, is going to rest as well. Minor back issue. I think they're being ultra cautious there. Plus, I think Kearse at this point, as crazy as it sounds, falls in the category of, I don't need to see him out there. No concerns that I've heard of about him being ready to go for week 1 or even before that, but just keep an eye on Kearse's back as we move forward.